All right, what's up, everybody? Good evening. All right, just giving everybody just a second here to hop on, and we'll go ahead and get started with our news. Good evening, everybody. Oh, God. Get out of here. Thank you guys for leaving those likes. I appreciate that. Give everybody just a second here to hop on, and we'll go ahead and get started. What's up, everybody? Okay. Alrighty, so we'll go ahead and get started here with our news covering today and kind of what we saw from the market. We'll go over some IPOs, major ETFs, all that good stuff, some earnings, etc., etc. Obviously, a lot of you guys saw that a lot of these IPOs popped. There was NTLA ripped another 6%. That's a biotech company. Krispy Kreme, D-Nut, soared 23.5%. And I think DD kind of traded in range, but did move back up from yesterday's low. Major ETFs, we have S&P 5,000 up 5.52%, NASDAQ up 0.13%, the Russell no change there, Dow up 61%. So we're going to go ahead and get into a few of the earnings that we had today. So Walgreens, they reported better than expected earnings revenue before market before the market opened today, and we'll pull up the chart just for aesthetic sake. So the stats, we have EPS $1.51 versus the $1.17 estimate. Revenue up 12%, 34 billion there. So from the CEO, this quarter's result demonstrates continued momentum, and while challenges lie ahead, we are in a strong position to grow and innovate our core retail pharmacy business for the future. They did fall back down on 7.4%, fears of ending vaccine frenzy. McCormick reported earnings as well. They did not do as well as expected. They were down 11% year over year, 1.57 billion in revenue, and EPS is 69 cents versus the 62% estimate. The combination of McCormick's board and advantage portfolio, the acceleration of consumer trends which our strategies capitalize on, and two recent acquisitions, as well as the effective execution of our strategies and engagement of our employees have positioned us to well differentiate growth even when lapping challenges year over year comparisons. They moved 4% lower today, a little bit further in after hours, but you can see Walgreens here settling at that 200-day EMA, kind of closing below that one as well. So IPOs, of course. We had DD. Clear, the biometric screening company, they completed their upsized IPO on Wednesday. Turns out Clear was more successful in their market debut. Let's see here. I don't think they have. Hold on 1 second. There it is. Yeah, so Clear up from its open 38 up at closing at 47.60. That's right, so up 30% today. I missed that IPO. Sorry about that. Anyway, let's see here. Huh, interesting. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go over our major ETFs. I can look at CPOP, yeah. There you go. Okay, so on the daily here, we're going to go over where SPY finished and what we could potentially see in the future going into this next week. Of course, we need to also look and analyze flow and kind of get an idea of where the sentiment is there as well. So we're going to go ahead and lock in here. 1 second. Okay, so this is why, one of the reasons why and there is a potential that they could be hedges. A lot of them are a little bit short dated. You have 706, 428 puts. That seems to be around the consensus 430, 429, 428. So we'll go over the chart and kind of see where that is. But you see the algo score on a lot of these 3.9 million. So some big orders. A put sweep. That put sweep is out at 409 for 917.21. That would be an extremely large hedge. But overall, the put flow, majority of it was bearish. So let's go ahead and let's look at SPY. Right now, we'll go to the 4-hour here and set some supports. Okay, so we know one thing, and I don't know why all my trend lines are gone. There it is. So my target, the last time we talked, guys, about SPY, was 431. I've seen call flow for a little bit higher. And let me fix this trend line here. Sorry, I just want to make sure it's accurate. There we go. Okay, so 431, 432 at a max. And we have literally made our way out of that inverse head and shoulders on SPY. And so I think as volume has decreased, we are seeing big pops, but we also can take a look at the RSI and see that not only have we climbed into the overbought on the 4-hour as well as the daily, but the MACD is showing considerable loss of strength. And that being said, you don't want to see a stock or any stock approach a resistance with low volume. You want to see accelerated volume as you approach a resistance. A lot of times you'll have big volume spikes at support levels. That's normal, but dissipating volume as you reach a resistance is never a good sign. So my target, and I'm just gonna put it here, if we do continue, a pullback to the 9-day moving average would be 429. So those puts could make a whole lot of sense as we could get a retest, but the SPY has just been riding the 9-day moving average, and right now my target remains the same, 432. And looking at, let me take a look at the hourly here. Yeah, so even on the hourly here, and I talked about this yesterday. So there was a smaller time frame support, right? And we broke it. Let me fix that, sorry. So a smaller time frame support right here that we were kind of riding on. And we exchanged support for resistance, talked about that last night. And today we climbed back above. So that's obviously a good sign, at least for a bull case. We're making a little kind of ugly bull flag here on the hourly as well. So you're going to probably get a little bit of a retest. Most likely you'll gap or handle that in pre-market. But we're going to be looking for another pop on SPY probably tomorrow. So keep your eyes peeled for that. If not, let me look at something really quickly. Sometimes you see stuff as you're charting. Okay, so that's enlightening for sure. So that does kind of look like a rising wedge as well on SPY. So we're going to want to get above 430.85, which is not too far away from that 431 mark. So we'll be watching that tomorrow. It is overbought on the 1 hour as well. So if we do get a pullback, then the 20-day moving average will likely be our safekeeping around 429.60. Moving on to the Qs. So we sat flat today, and the one thing that was kind of discouraging, and this does tend to happen, I've seen it happen multiple times whenever you do break support, it doesn't end up happening immediately. And looking at Microsoft, looking at all these other stocks, if you draw, a flat, if you draw all of the tech stocks, kind of have been sitting flat like this following the Qs. But you did have this really elongated wedge on the Qs that we finally broke support, just barely holding onto the 50-day EMA here on the hourly. So the support is for 352.20, and that's going to be tomorrow if we can't maintain and hold a bounce. Otherwise, and this is the thing and about the Qs and SPY, is like as of today, remember today, those of you in the group, I was talking about maybe going short on SPY, seeing a rounded top. I will actually give you guys my analysis on Wish for sure. I also posted a TikTok on Wish, the analysis there. But anyway, so normally I'd be looking to the downside on this one. So tomorrow, if we do end up pulling back, 353.65 is going to be where I'm looking to potentially start a short position, and we're going to need to break that level with some strength. Okay, so if we get a pop though, more than likely 355.50 on the dot would likely be where we would see a rejection. Okay. Anyway, so we have the Dow. So we talked about this as well the other day, and unfortunately I didn't see as crazy movement from like CAT or BA. BA is setting up a hourly inverse head and shoulders potentially. We're going to be watching that one tomorrow for a potential reversal. But I didn't see the movement that I wanted from some of these industrial stocks. But we did see the Dow break out of this channel. So that's awesome. And we're going to be watching this one tomorrow for continuation. We're looking for, and I think that we could pull off a relatively strong move around 34 or 348.11 is where I would likely or where I'd like to see the Dow. Sorry guys. I'm live on YouTube if you guys want to hop on there. But I am going to do analysis on Wish and space. Okay, so anyway, that covers that. IWM sitting flat today. Again, broken downtrend. Yep, just leave your requests down there, guys, and I will get to those. Let's see, Apple. That was the first one. Okay. Anyway, IWM really coiled up, holding that 9-day moving average. Watch for a potential pop tomorrow. You do have that broken downtrend, and you are holding support. So watching IWM tomorrow for a potential leg up past 231.85. All right. So unfortunately, and I know a lot of people weren't on, but I signaled space 2 days ago, or a day before yesterday, a $50 call for the end of this week. I also was on live, and I ended up taking a July 16th $55 call as well. And well, I took a 50 and a 55, but if anybody's in that trade tomorrow, we're going to be watching for continuation. This was a really sick recovery in after hours. I'm curious to see if it affected MaxR. MaxR breaking out of this flag. So two space stocks that I'm going to be watching tomorrow. Equity can be really fun on MaxR, but I want to verify that we have the correct resistance here. Okay, so yeah, definitely going to want to see it past 41 on MaxR, but space with strong movement due to Richard Branson announcing that July 11th he's going to send his goofy ass into space, being one of the first billionaires to do so, and that definitely just caused Space's stock to pop. This would be one of the first realistic, like, okay, the owner actually is going into space, and maybe we can too shortly afterwards. So viable business revenue potential, even though the business model doesn't look really sustainable, but we'll talk about that later. If you guys want to hop on the YouTube, I can do analysis there. Okay. All right, so anyway, we have a couple of different stocks that I'm going to be watching tomorrow, and a lot of these I was looking at unusual option flow, and I saw plug flow come in for 709, and most of these are out relatively safe. Those are around the 716. So nobody, a lot of times in usual volume sweeps, you'll see a lot of weeklies, and there's not a whole lot of weeklies in here. So people are definitely going along with these. But plug and snap were two that definitely took off. I know some of you guys in the chat scalped snap today, but I'm going to be looking at plug tomorrow. We are in, I don't have the channel here now. 1 second. Sorry. Okay, so we look like we're pretty consolidated in this little channel here, kind of like we were before on plug, and we did get a pretty gnarly pop today all the way to 34 before rejecting, but buyers are present. I was watching the tape, and volume is there. You saw volume start to pick up as well towards the end of the day before it died off. So tomorrow I'm going to be watching for a bounce off of 3260. If we can get a strong bounce, I will likely take that one as well. Another stock that I'm going to be watching tomorrow is MU, and whether that be to the up or the downside, I am okay with taking either one of those positions. So watch MU tomorrow. Today we were talking about a potential reversal on MU, but what we ended up getting, and it was kind of crazy because if you go down here to the 15-minute, we did have this falling wedge, and then it ended up popping in after hours, shooting all the way up to 83.36 and just pulled right back. So going to be watching this one. It's sitting flat up against 79.95. I definitely want to see a bounce tomorrow. Probably going to start laying into that trade above $80. So watch that one. Set your alerts so that way the trade doesn't get away with you or get away from you. And also if it ends up legging down, I'll be watching, of course, quarterly and 50-cent marks like 79.50 for a potential bounce. All right. Okay. Yeah, that was another one that I was going to watch. Let's see here. Wish. Yeah, I'll do Wish as well. Thank you, everybody who's in for the leaving likes. I appreciate that. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, another one that I'm going to keep my eyes on is Diddy. I scalped this one with equity today. Pretty nice. Here was our entry right here. And I just waited for the IPO right around the IPO's high once the volume kind of pulled back to take profit. But looking at this one in after hours and today, it looks like it built a little flag right here. So if you check out DD with the flag, broke out and then in after hours just kind of sitting flat. So if it does pull back, I guess I'll just watch for a double bottom. And then if we get that double bottom, I'll end up taking an equity bounce or a bounce around 16.10 or 16 flat. So I'll be watching and paying close attention to that one. Alrighty, so I still have Wish. I know everybody's asking me to chart this one. So I have a pretty good idea of what we may see here. I don't like the candlestick that we had today. It kind of showed a little bit more strength than I would have liked. Don't like the MACD to the downside. But if we can get a bounce tomorrow on Wish, there is the potential that we could form a inverse head and shoulders. That's a bullish reversal pattern. We do have earnings coming up in September, and we might be able to use that pattern as a potential run up. So yeah, definitely going to be watching Wish at this level of 1165. So watch Wish to bounce at 1165. So. Remember what we talked about yesterday about Nvidia on the 4-hour with this ascending wedge? So same thing with you guys see the Qs, Microsoft, all of those, they have those higher time frame reversal patterns. So tomorrow, guys, I'm going to be watching both of these short. I might try not to have a bias, so if it ends up popping again, so be it. But remember, this morning we said we were above 806, that we would likely go and retest 817. We hit I actually said 817.50, I think. But we hit that, rejected it, pulled back, and settled on that previous high. So kind of expecting a reversal tomorrow and a pullback to 790. So that might make for a relatively good scalping opportunity. Let's see here. I got a request for C-pop, pop culture. So here in after hours, Oops. Looks like on the 15-minute time frame, built a nice little, kind of looks like a little bit of a flag, but this one below, pretty simple, below 53.60 or 53.70, you're likely going to see a pullback, and because it's newly IPO'd, there's no telling where that could be. 38 or 35 could be a bounce level, 38, 33. So there's no telling because it's new, but if you break downtrend and pop up above 58.65, I just read your comment, Opticy. Then we may see, or you may see a reversal or uptrend. So, thoughts on T, AT&T. Well, I have this. I've had this downtrend. Apparently, I haven't charted this in a while. Yeah, so you got a break in downtrend on T. You have dividends coming up. Normally during dividends, and this isn't every time, but normally during dividends, you'll see a little bit of shakiness. A lot of people take profit on their shares, but AT&T has seen a big drop. So, more than likely the target, you get a little 50 cent, or I guess in your case 45-cent move to the 50-day moving or 50-day EMA, and that seems to be a relatively strong support across. Yeah, wow, yeah. So 29.50. So if you go back, that's been a support level for T for a while. So support turn resistance. Watch that one above 29.50. And then you have a secondary resistance, and this is all on the daily, of course, at 29.85. T is kind of a sloth, so it doesn't move very. You guys can see by previous, looking at previous movement on AT&T, it can be quite predictable, and even in a bullish uptrend, be extremely volatile and almost untradeable. So if you're in any positions on AT&T, you need to be out long, period. And I mean, let me go look at the weekly. Yeah, besides having high dividends, it's kind of a garbage stock. I mean, the weekly looks like an absolute, it looks terrible. Yeah, you're going to need to see some strength here in the next coming days. You have a little bit of a flag here in after hours. 29.23. So AMC settled and pulled back below the 200-day EMA. Looking at the weekly, it does look like this wedge. It's building a little base if it can break to the upside. But if you pull it up here, one second, there we go. So today on the daily, and this is starting off at this bottom low, but AMC barely held support, bounced off of this support line. I had 52.25 as a support. That's where we bounced and finished the day right around 53 or 54, excuse me. So tomorrow I would hope and like to see a reversal, although it's I no hoping here. It doesn't look great, but it's back at that support level that it's we've seen those reversals happen. So anywhere below 52, and AMC's probably going to see a little bit of pain, maybe even back into the 40s. So okay, Apple. Okay, so as we talked about yesterday, this same resistance, 137.50, that we've continued, or excuse me, 137 It looks like 137.40 actually. Yeah, so 137.40, right? That's where we've seen multiple rejections. And Apple just, I'm telling you guys, it's done this all on what looks to be decreasing volume. We've had some pops here towards the end of the day, but every time it makes any type of bullish move, it just immediately screams into the overbought sector on the RSI. And we're still trading within this channel that we talked about. And so it was actually crazy. I don't know if you guys saw my video. I don't know when I posted it. On June 28th, right? And then I also talked to you guys about it. I left this morning. This line, it was kind of creepy. So if you guys look at the line, that was literally what I talked about. I talked about hitting a rejection here against that resistance and moving back down to the 50-day EMA. That's exactly what we happened. We got the bounce as well. I think there's like a market maker watching my chart. But anyway, got a really strong bounce off of the 50-day EMA. So don't be surprised with correlating movement from Apple that we may see a bounce up past 137.40, and we could hit 137 or 137.85. I've seen calls all the way for 140s. That's great. But in my opinion, this is such a strong resistance, and we're in such a volatile time that I just don't see Apple breaking to the upside. And you can even just see these crazy wicks here in after hours. So we'll be watching this one tomorrow. Has a little bit of a weird looking flag, but yeah. So that's Apple. Anywhere above 137.40 with volume. Yeah, we have a video as well on supply. We actually have a book or two on that for free if you guys if you want that. Strongest sector. I don't know. Probably energy. Minerals, steel, metals, likely be really strong. Okay. Nvidia. So, same deal. We talked about this one as well. Strong pop up to that resistance, pulled back, and with the Qs, like we said, the Qs could pop tomorrow and retest that weird level that we were talking about, and that would allow Nvidia to go back and retest 818.50. But to the downside, I'm watching this one below. Really, I'll scalp it below the 50 and take it down to probably past 800. But this is a really tight zone, so it may be best to watch that short entry at the break of 799. That is and this is a reversal pattern as well. So I mean, I'll go ahead and draw a line and just leave it there. So I mean, more than likely, I would see a bounce here. So you might see a little bit of a bounce, and then dropping down, right? Your second target is going to be right there at 785. And then from there, obviously that's too far to tell. It could continue to drop and go back down to this 200-day EMA, but obviously there's going to be some type of catalyst. So NIFI, or not NIFI, S0101. There's a free part in our Discord that we have that literally has all of that for free. I wrote most of it myself, but literally from top to bottom, what are options, everything. So You can go to our Instagram. The link, it's linked in the bio, and you can hop in there. And he says don't mess with the options, but the only way that you're going to actually learn is to mess with options. So get a paper trading account or a simulated account and start practicing. So. Cool. All right, so we got Nvidia. I got Wish. NWL. Go. Yuck. Didn't we chart this the other day? Yeah, so wow. Harsh rejection, breaking that support. So this one is likely a short. And I would imagine you're going to see this one back down around 26.35, relatively, probably by tomorrow. And then even there, we have below that, you have 25.85. Excuse me, 25.75. So that is a very strong rejection. So watch for a little bit of choppiness, but otherwise that one's pretty bearish based on the previous analysis we did. So what's the word on Wish? Wish has a potential inverse head and shoulders. I literally just posted a video on my TikTok as well on that one. What if there was no phone here and I was just like talking to nobody? Like a teddy bear just sitting there with a scar. Any other, DK&G, Nvidia, or Baba, excuse me. Oof, DK&G looks terrible. Let's go to the daily. All right, looks like DK&G's revving up for another rejection. So you did have a breaking downtrend, then you got hit with the Hindenburg. Okay, so normally when events like that happen, they're waiting for a response. They want to see some resolve. Some buyers aren't convinced. They want to see proof. So for DraftKings, more than likely you're going to stick and stay inside of this consolidation pattern, which means you could see DK&G below 50, excuse me, back down to 48.50. And at that point you might see one more bounce. You have 3 touches of support so far, and so you're going to want to see a bounce there, 48.50, with a resistance around 51.56. But you may see light price action as again you're waiting for resolve with that Hindenburg report that came in. So yeah, supply and demand in combination with technical analysis is really important and can really help you as well. Can be quite profitable. Will you be apt to take a position on Tesla tomorrow if delivery numbers are released? Let's see here. So deliveries, AM, PM, macroeconomic data at 8:30 on Friday that could affect stocks up or down. So look at the setup. Remember, we talk about this all the time, and remember this: the chart sets up the news. There's probably really bad economic data at 8:30 p.m. So I might swing put options. I know that's probably not a great idea. So I may go light, but I do have equity in some tech stocks, so it would be a hedge, if you want to call it that. Sounds like more like an excuse. But anyway, DK&G, bilateral pattern here. Jeez, I need some WD-40 on that door. What was that? Okay, so that's a little bit more accurate, so. Got you, no problem. Baba. So this one faked right out of a flag. Your best hope right now is a weird looking cup and handle. But honestly, I think that China, there's so much indecision right now that like when you get to a major resistance like that, you're getting more like, and I think that there's, and we've seen it on the 1 minute, there's more high frequency traders, and you're getting these big orders, but you're also, and I've seen this in the filings, but people are selling Bidu as well. And so, I mean, in my opinion, or not Baidu, Baba and Bidu. And so, I mean, from the levels that it was down here, you know, if people with big pockets were able to take, or they would more than likely be taking profit as well. So honestly, with this one, I would look for a pullback down to, and if I'm not mistaken, no, that gap was filled. But you will likely see it back to 220 tomorrow, anywhere under 220, and we're going back down to 218.75, and then you have a little zone down here around the 215 level, so 214.75. Neo. Neo? Yeah. You want to hop on live or something, man? Neo. So let's take a look at Neo. Actually, we called this a while back. I actually played Neo puts. Complete reversal. I do think what was it? XPVE is selling shares, I think, at 42.50, and so that there was a buyback or something. I might be butchering that right now, but that also spurred a reversal. I was able to scalp XPVE today, and then, like I said, it had a complete reversal. I am banking on Neo making its way back all the way to in agreement with him, 48 is actually the level that I'm going to be watching for a pullback. But you do have what is a little bit more than a dark cloud cover, but you have that gap up and a loss of 50% or more of the previous day's gains. That is a reversal candle. You are overbought on the RSI, and you have very little buying power, but very little strength to the upside. Also, keep your eye on reversals or reversal candles and the volume that is that they have when they do that, because volume is important as well on reversal candles. So watch this one back to 48, but I don't think that it would be done at 48 on the dot. I'm going to go ahead and draw a trend line here really quickly. So 47.50 is another level right underneath that we could see. But with this type of candle, in my opinion, I think that we could start seeing a pullback down to the 43 level in a couple weeks, because this is we definitely need to evaluate it when it gets to the 9 and that support there. But Neo, in my opinion, is likely going to reverse and probably head back down, at least into a short-term bear trend. So, ouch. Did I do Amazon already? I don't think I did. Oh, lordy, Amazon. Alright, so this one, quite simply, trading in this channel here, which has been trading in forever. Honestly, you got a rejection, and you didn't even reach that previous wick. It actually just reached where that was. So 35.25. You got a pretty stiff rejection. So if you do continue below 3,400 and close a daily candle below that, more than likely you're going to continue to see Amazon reverse, and your level, or at least your bounce spot on Amazon is going to be right around here. So more than likely you're going to see Amazon back to 33.30 before earning. I mean, the only thing is you have earnings coming up, and you're rejecting. You already ran up, so you could be priced in. So watch that one back down to 3,300 or 33.30. So. Righty then. Jamia. This one, I know we saw $33 calls come in for Jamia. This one is, and I ended up cutting those came off of unusual options, but this one I'm going to be watching short as well. I'm waiting for a bounce on Jamia. You can see here that if you go from this high and pull it down there, that Jamia more than likely could get a strong bounce tomorrow. So watch that one above the 9-day moving average, but I'm looking to potentially go short on it as well. So any other stocks you guys want me to take a look at? I'll take a look at Tesla. It'd be good to, oh yeah, so Tesla also setting up short as well. So if you take a look at Tesla, we can go down here to the 15-minute time frame. Crazy looking wicks. Okay, so ending the day and post market at support. So tomorrow, gap down, more than likely going to have a red day. Gap up, and there's a potential that you could see a nice bounce on Tesla tomorrow. But watch that 682 level, as that is the previous support that we did break today, and you can see a lot of struggle to do so, but it did spill over. So watching, I would watch Tesla short, to be honest with you, and this is a bilateral pattern forming on the hourly. So a lot of people have said this is a cup and handle, and I would like to agree, but I honestly think that at a minimum we pull back to 665. So, and that's my opinion. But if we pull back to 665, we still have a whole gap to fill to 656. So I'm kind of feeling bearish, but we'll see here, and we can go take a look at flow. So majority of the calls coming in are for 735, 700, 700, 675, etc., etc. But like I said, here in after hours, not looking that great. So let's go here and let's set ourselves up for success. And I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to change to these candles. Okay, so ignore that one. All right, so it does look like you could, and like I said, if you can break and bounce up, and so I'll give you guys my levels to the up and the downside. So to the upside, I'll watch the break of 680. Below 675 or 674.35. I'll likely take Tesla to the downside, although we have seen Tesla completely reverse off the 670 level, so we're going to want to see strength to the downside. Maybe even a catalyst would be nice. A new plug of the driver had to break his way out. Negative press. Oh shit. That's not good. Well, that could definitely tarnish some reputation. All right, what else we got? I don't know what that was. All right. Oh, really? EVGO. I don't know if Kenneth is on. I'll remember that. I'll trade that EPO. EPOs or IPOs, excuse me, have been hot this week, so I saw that. Do you like CLNE below 10 or go long? Holy crap. That one actually has a decent setup here. Check it out. Look at that. So watch for a major move on CLNE here relatively soon. This is really tight. I'm gonna write that one down as well. What the heck? All right, so got that one right, written down. CLNE. Yeah, so if you watch this one above, I'd say 11. Do you like it just below 10 to go long? I mean, honestly, it's at 10. Anywhere below that, and you're gonna pull back heavy, probably back down to 765. So we need to see a reversal on CLNE. CLNE. Yeah, I said that right. Okay. But not a bad setup for sure. So we're gonna watch that one tomorrow. 1050. We're gonna watch 1068. Chart sets up the news, so watch for news. Watch it in pre-market. It looks curled up like crazy. I don't always use the TTM, but I'd like to see what it looks like now. Okay, got a little squeezing, a little bit. Yeah, let's see if we can get that rollover. So, all right, we'll do Piton now, and we'll dip. Of course. So you got a daily flag pull back down to the 9-day moving average on Piton. This one actually doesn't look bad at all. I don't want to call it an inverse. No, yeah, I can call it an inverse head and shoulders. That is sick looking. So Piton doesn't have a whole lot of strength right now. It does have relatively low. It did have stronger volume on the push, but it's got relatively low volume right now. So it may need to see a little bit more consolidation. You do have earnings coming up, and it looks like in September, so plenty of time to run. But like I said, you may see, and it looks like it might go for a pullback rather than pushing a new high. But if you do manage to break 127 and hold a daily candle or break past that level, and we've seen how Piton moves, your target would likely be in the 30s around 134. So if we get a breakout tomorrow, and we'll go down to the hourly really quick. Let's look at I would say 125 could be a good early entry with volume. And we'll also do this right here. So a breakout confirmation would be 125 on the dot on Peloton, and that would be to the upside. Okay, so 125 to the upside. To the downside, more than likely you would see a break of 120.75, and from there you would have the levels of 118.60, or excuse me, 118.75, and then directly below that 117.60. So yeah. Does that make sense though? So Peloton looks really good. I'll write that one down as well. It's one to watch tomorrow. Has a good setup. Daily flag. All right. All right, everybody. I will be on tomorrow morning, 8:45 Eastern time, and we'll get it going. Yeah. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for leaving likes on YouTube for the algorithms. Much appreciated. All right, guys. See you guys tomorrow.